Hey guys, I'm Melissa. I'm a registered dietitian. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking fad diets. So if you didn't know, I have a little series on my channel where I talk about different fad diets and the science behind them and if they actually work. So today we are talking about the Whole30 diet. And I feel like the Whole30 diet is a little different because I just kind of feel like everyone just kind of accepts that it's a good diet. You know, with a lot of other fad diets, there's a lot of other people besides dietitians who kind of recognize that there's no science behind any of it and things like that. But I feel like that's not true with Whole30. I feel like everybody just kind of thinks it's a good diet and kind of accepts it. So today we're going to talk about Whole30, what it is, and the positive and negatives about it, and the science behind it. So Whole30 started in 2009, so it's a fairly new diet. It started when the founder, Melissa Hartwig, blogged about her experience of trying this 30-day just like food experiment, and it just kind of blew up from there. And Melissa Hartwig is not a dietitian, she's not a doctor, she is a sports nutritionist, which, if you don't know the difference between a dietitian and nutritionist, pretty much anyone can call themselves a nutritionist. To be a sports nutritionist, she probably had to take a test to become a certified sports nutritionist, but she did not have to go to school or anything for it. So that's just a quick explanation of what the difference is there. Also, I searched all over the place through like my old grad school's like article library and all that stuff, and I could not find any scientific peer-reviewed articles about Whole30 anywhere. So that's not a good sign. The fact that there's no scientific evidence or research on it anywhere. So that's the background on the diet. So what is the diet? The goal of the diet is to eat real food, which I think is a great goal. I think that's something that all of us could definitely stand to do. The point of Whole30 is that it's 30 days, and in those 30 days you cannot have added sugar of any kind, even like natural sugars like honey, can't have alcohol, grains of any kind, legumes of any kind, dairy of any kind, carrageenan, MSG, or sulfites. You cannot weigh yourself or measure yourself. You also cannot recreate healthy versions of like treats that you would normally want to eat, even if they do fit into Whole30. For example, one of the quotes on the website was, "A pancake is still a pancake even if it's made with coconut flour." And the philosophy behind that is that she says it's not psychologically healthy to be recreating healthy versions of the foods that you like, because that food is the food that got you in trouble in the first place. So that is the basis of the diet. Those are all the things that you cannot eat for 30 days. So yeah, that's the diet in a nutshell. So let's talk about the good and the bad. So the good, I do really like that the goal of the diet is to eat real food. Like I said, I think that's something that all of us could definitely strive towards. We probably all eat a little too much processed food, even if we don't really realize it. And I do also like the goal of creating a better relationship with food. The problem is I'm not really sure how this diet creates a better relationship with food, especially when you're not able to have any of the things that you enjoy, and you can't even create healthier versions of the things you enjoy. So it kind of seems like that takes a lot of joy out of food because you're restricting yourself so much and you're not allowing yourself to have any sort of treat, even if it is a healthy version of a treat. So to me that takes a lot of joy out of eating, and that is not the relationship that anyone wants with food. To me, that creates a worse relationship with food. So I like the idea that she's trying to create a better relationship with food. I'm just not sure how this diet does that. Another thing I like is that in the like rules and description of the diet on her website, she does emphasize, like, you know, this is it's not going to be easy, and it requires a lot of like planning and grocery shopping and all this stuff. And I do like the fact that she emphasizes the planning, because if you've watched any of my videos, you know I think planning is a huge part of living a healthy lifestyle. I think that, you know, actually going to the grocery store, buying your groceries, cooking your own food is also a huge part of living a healthy lifestyle. So the fact that this diet gets you to do that, and you're pretty much forced to learn how to plan your meals and go grocery shopping and find the right things at the grocery store, I think that's a positive thing that comes out of this diet as well. So the bad, like this has a lot of similar negatives to paleo. So if you haven't seen my paleo video, I'll link that. But the major negative for me is that this diet cuts out a lot of healthy foods. It cuts out legumes, which are really good for you, especially if you are a vegetarian. Having legumes as a source of protein is pretty important. They're huge sources of fiber. Same with whole grains. Eating whole grains, as long as you're doing it in moderation, is not bad for you. It's actually very good for you. Dairy as well. Obviously, some people's bodies do not agree with dairy. If you're lactose intolerant, obviously dairy is not good for you and you should cut it out. But as of like research right now, there's really not any reason that you need to be cutting out dairy, especially things like yogurt and some cheeses that can be really good for you. So the fact that those are cut out of your diet is kind of frustrating, because it insinuates that those things are bad for you, when really they can be very healthy additions to your diet. And I feel like, as kind of a rule, any diet that cuts out an entire food group is likely not a science-backed, reliable, sustainable diet. Another negative that I see is kind of what I said before, is that I kind of feel like this takes a lot of joy out of eating, when she specifically says you cannot make any healthier version of a treat that you would like. Even if it fits into the Whole30 guidelines, you can't do it because for some reason it's not psychologically healthy for you to have a treat. To me, that is incredibly restrictive. And anything that is that restrictive and never allows you to have a treat is probably not going to be sustainable for most people. Not that this is sustainable, because you're only supposed to do it for 30 days, but we'll get to that in a second. But to me, that takes a lot of the joy out of eating, and that should not be the relationship that we're all striving for when it comes to eating. Having a negative relationship that's associated with restriction and not with any type of joy is not a healthy relationship to have with food, and I don't think it's a relationship that we should be promoting. So the final thing is that obviously it only lasts for 30 days, and that might sound good to some people. I mean, it is appealing that you only have to do this for 30 days and then magically your body is changed and your relationship with food is changed and all of this stuff, but in reality, any diet that has an endpoint is not really a diet that is going to help you in the long run. If you think that you can eat healthy for 30 days, cut out all these things for 30 days, and then be smooth sailing from there on out and have no issues and lose all this weight, and it's just not realistic, because what's gonna happen after that 30 days? The majority of people are gonna go back to eating how they did eat, and then obviously gain the weight back, because you're not really changing anything, only changing for that short period of time. So in conclusion, I don't think that Whole30 is at all the worst fad diet. You know, I like that it emphasizes whole foods, and that you're forced to grocery shop and meal plan and cook for yourself. I think those are all great lessons to learn and things to add to your life. However, it's very restrictive, and it cuts out a lot of foods that are actually healthy for your body, and the fact that it is only 30 days long and has that set endpoint shows me that its goal is not to create long-lasting lifestyle changes. Also, there's no science behind it, so that is also something to consider if you are considering doing this diet. Like I say in pretty much every fad diet video, I really wish that some like celebrity or something would come up with this great fad diet that's just small, lasting lifestyle changes, eating in moderation, creating a good relationship with food, and just like, you know, slow, steady, but as of right now, that's not what is happening. So, just keep in mind, if you're thinking of doing Whole30 or any other kind of fad diet, it might be your solution for 30 days, but think about what you're going to do after that, and if that's something that you can really stick with, and really consider just making some small lifestyle changes that will last you your whole life and that you can actually stick with. So that is my 2 cents on that. And yeah, that is my review of the Whole30 diet. Like I said, I don't think it's the worst fad diet out there, but definitely has its negatives. If you're a dietitian and you have any comments about Whole30, then please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know your opinions. And if there's any other fad diets that you would like me to do a video like this about, then let me know as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you have not already. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.